Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Industry AF. My name is James Frolio. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Tyler Boone. And today we're joined by Brendan Martin. B. Martin, as he's on Spotify and streaming services. B. Martin is an LA-based music producer, rapper, and singer-songwriter, a man of many musical talents. His early opportunity featuring on a T-Pain song has allowed him to open for some of the biggest names in music: Wu-Tang, Mac Miller, J. Cole, Steve Aoki, Lupe Fiasco, and more. With extensive expertise in the music industry, navigating and negotiating different record label deals, Martin is now an independent artist who's figured out how to monetize the industry while still remaining creative and relevant. He's also the owner of Purpose Studios in Los Angeles, California, where he writes and produces records for himself and other like-minded artists. You can find B. Martin online, IG and Twitter at B. Martin Official. Brendan, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, wonderful to be here.
Thanks for being about. You know, me and Brendan have been working for a while, and today's the first day we met. So,
Crazy.
Dude, brother.
Pleasure, my dude. It feels like I've known you forever.
Yeah, it's. I was living in San Pedro, so 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
When we connected. So yeah, beautiful, man.
Yeah, wonderful to be in the same room.
Yeah, man. Well, you know,
Room full of songwriters, too. I like it.
Nice.
we're really stoked to have you because you know, I do a lot of different things. The Bourbon, artist format music, but we wanted a recording artist and entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dude, we gotta have B. Martin in.
Cool.
So thanks for coming.
I appreciate the opportunity and get to spend this time with you.
Absolutely, man. Well, James, can you fire some questions, bud?
Firing them off, dude. I think a great place to start is the T-Pain song Motivation. Would you mind just sharing with the audience, like, maybe how you got into music and then, like, this kind of seemed like the big jumping off point?
Yeah, it probably was. Getting into music was, I think it was more like just rapping when I was younger. There was a friend of mine, Danny Matlin, who was always rapping and freestyling really good. Still to this day, one of the best rappers I know. And he just inspired me to start rapping and start writing. And that led to me just writing raps. It led to me recording. And then this kid dissed me when I was in high school. I put out like one song and he dissed me about like being too white to rap, but he was white too. So I dissed him back, and that kind of went viral in my high school, so to speak. And then from there, I started recording a lot. And one day I went into this place that I was recording every day, but the house looked completely different. It was crazy. I was like, why does this house, like, I was just here yesterday. And then I realized I'm in the wrong house, but there happened to be another recording studio in this house.
Insane.
It was crazy. So I like run out of the house, and this kid's like, hey, can I help you? And I'm like, sorry, man, I'm supposed to be next door because the houses look identical. They were right next to each other. And that's the guy. He's like, hey, come see my studio. I ended up recording with him for like 2 years throughout high school. And then that led to me working at a restaurant, meeting this kid, Ritz. He took me to his studio, and that was the first time I heard like rap vocals mixed well. And I was like, oh my God, I really enjoy the sound. And they started putting me on shows opening for like Joel Santana and Fabulous and different people. I would like open for their kind of group's act.
What city was this?
This was Albany, New York.
Okay, cool. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Dope.
And then yeah, one thing led to another, and eventually I entered that T-Pain competition where he was like the best verse with like the most kind of views will win. And so there's a kid who won who had the most views, and I guess he liked my verse a lot and also had a lot of, you know, shares and views. And yeah, so T-Pain was like, B. Martin, you ripped that thing. You're on my next mixtape. I was like, what the
Oh, word.
People started texting me like, yo, congrats. I had no idea what happened. And apparently, I won that. And
Did that happen? So you were on a mixtape with T-Pain?
yeah.
Amazing.
Did you get to work with him personally, or was it more of a remote situation?
It was more remote. It's so weird. I actually had a dream about him the other night that like he was at he was like running a juice store, like a place where you buy juice, like fresh juice in LA. It's such a LA dream to have, right?
Yeah.
And we were like going over melodies and going over rhymes, and I didn't bring up the fact that I was on his mixtape, but that's
in
weird.
the dream.
It just sparked that I had.
You
that
were
dream.
humble in the dream. Good.
I wasn't that hung. I was like doing melodies and rhymes. I was like trying to get him to be like, "Wow, B. Martin's nice," but kind of a weird dream to have.
But so after the mixtape, just like you stayed in New York? Did you go to LA?
Yeah, after the mixtape, I had got like news coverage, and that's kind of what led to the opening for Mac Miller locally, which was like one of the best experiences ever because his fans were so like raw and ready to go and pumped. And for me, that was like incredible because you just go out there like, everyone put your fucking hands in there, and they're just like, ah. They're not like snobs, you know. They're not like, who's this?
They're ready to participate.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
They were just amazing, and his energy was amazing, and so I got to open for him there, and that led to him being like, okay, B. Martin gets the crowd going, like, it's a good vibe. I always had girls with me, his manager, like that. So yeah, I started opening for him in Pittsburgh, his hometown, and then we started opening all over like the tri-state area with him.
What year was that?
That was 2009 to 2011. Those kind of 2 years.
It's like Blue Slide Park era.
Yeah, maybe one album before that.
I gotcha. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
James here is a huge Mac Miller fan. So.
Awesome. He's so talented, and his just vibe is so infectious, and
It's good
raw and
energy.
real.
When me and my buddy were seniors, I felt like he was a senior too, just like rapping about the same. Like it was like an artist that was like
The homie.
just rapping about things that we were talking about. We were like, oh. Yeah.
And it's crazy, like, so now the landscape has changed so much where the artists who are blowing up are very organic and raw and real and like look like, you know what I mean? Like they just look like a normal dude. And they've figured out social media, and they're nasty and dope, but like that's what's selling now is that authenticity and that rawness. So it's important to like
Genuinity is back.
Yeah, it really is really palpable these days, especially with TikTok.
Well, that's huge, and you know, you bring that up. You as an independent artist, you know, you wear a lot of hats, but with social media, you do a very good job with it. You know, I mean, you know, talk about that, like, you know, how social media has affected your life, your daily routine. What do you try to do to not get so sucked into it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I went to my girlfriend's the other day, and I just left my phone at home. So that's one thing is like, if you go to bed, put your phone on the other side of the room, leave it in the kitchen, figure out a way to like truly disconnect, turn Wi-Fi off. I think it sends a subconscious signal to your brain like it's not happening right now. We're not doing this, you know? So that's been helpful. And also scheduling when you're going to post. So I do like 2 funny Tuesdays, like funny videos on Tuesdays, Flow Fridays is my rap videos, and it just compartmentalizes like, okay, today I'm going to post this kind of content. It also lets my audience know, okay, we're expecting this from him today, and I can kind of rally them through that.
Sure.
So instead of being like, fuck, should I post today? Fuck, I got this meeting. All right, let's, in this rush thing, I have ADD, so I have to figure out a way to compartmentalize and a way to kind of separate it out. So that's been really helpful, is to pick a specific day for a specific time. And what was the question again? It was like, to not get sucked in. And
well, I mean, you know, fortunately and unfortunately, and you and I both work together with Artist Formula.
Yeah.
Social media can just swallow you up, man. So like, you know, how you know, how do you deal with it on a daily routine of like, hey man, I gotta do this. But I mean, there's days that I find myself, I'm like, dude, I think I've been on my phone all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there something that, you know, exercise? You guys are talking about shakes a second ago. You know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to do to separate yourself from it?
Dude, one of the things that's been really helpful, especially with running a business, you know, writing songs, producing for other people, having to review contracts, having to post on social media, because it's truly beneficial, and we could talk about like the impact that it can have, is I'll do like time blocking. So I'll set my timer for 15 minutes at a time, and I'll just work on one task. And then I'll switch off for 15 minutes, say like bouncing stems and music. Yeah. And then I'll go right back 15 minutes working on a different task within the agency. Like,
interesting.
And so that way I'm telling my brain, hey, bro, it's only 15 minutes. So my brain's not panicking. Like, when is this going to end? Are you going to complete it? I'm going to complete the 15-minute task. I'm not going to complete the whole thing that I'm working on.
When did you start doing that?
I've been doing kind of timer work for a long time.
Gotcha.
Like, I'm going to read for 30 minutes, or I'm going to work on music for 30 minutes. But lately I created a new system of 15 on, 15 off.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been really effective.
I struggle hard with that. I'll do Boone's Bourbon, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, dude, I didn't hit B up. Hit it, you know what I mean? And then it'll be 3 o'clock. I haven't eaten all day. I had nothing but coffee. And I called James for an hour. We had to talk about something. All of a sudden it's 5 o'clock, and I go to the gym. Then I go, did I get anything done today? You know what I mean? It's tough. So I like that a lot. That's very smart.
Yeah, it's been great, and I find when I time block it and set a small amount of time, my brain can kind of let go of everything else and fully lock in, and so the work becomes a lot deeper and more efficient that way.
For sure.
More focused.
Yeah, it's like I can get things done in 2 minutes that have been haunting me for years, you know, or for months or hours or whatever it is.
I love that.
One of my favorite phrases is cognitive bandwidth, and you wake up with like the largest amount. If you think of bandwidth, like how much processing you can take if your brain is like a computer. So that's why a lot of people write songs in the morning because they're like, you know, they have the largest cognitive bandwidth. They're just exited the dream state. They're kind of like alpha wave. It's
Absolutely.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like decision fatigue, right? Like you wake up with a certain amount of decisions available, and as you make like, what am I going to wear today? What am I going to wear to the podcast? Should I shower? Well, my hair looks good. Maybe I shouldn't shower. You know, what should I have for breakfast?
Allotting only 15 minutes for something like that allows you to not let it run off.
Yeah, and also by creating like a routine and making decisions in advance, you're eliminating a lot of the decisions that you have to make. So if I'm like, yo, I'm gonna wear this tomorrow, that's done.
Sure.
Or every morning I eat this, or I have a meal prep delivery service that delivers my meals. You're eliminating, you know, all of the decisions that are taken away from that cognitive bandwidth on a daily basis. And it's been really helpful.
Wow, man. You know, I take showers with my JBL speaker, and I do 2 songs, and I'm out.
That's good.
That's the way I do it. It's like, what's it, like 6-7 minutes?
Tyler rocks
Instead
out.
of sitting there, you know, just, you know, doing whatever, you know, it just makes me
And
get
you
out.
smell great. You
Yeah,
smell
you know,
great.
yeah. Thanks, man. Well, yeah, good.
Start your day with some Blink-182, man.
Yeah, every day, dude.
Just like hard metal, like, let's fucking go. It's like rubbing all
She
gently.
won't text me back.
Yeah.
So what was the, like, hold on, time out.
The number one moment you've ever had in your life.
Go.
Well, I was having sex with this girl. It felt so good on my dick.
So it was like the rapping and the virality and like the diss, the battle, you know, all that rap stuff kind of, you seemed like you're in the groove with that. When did the switch happen to EDM and like singing like more melodic, more hooks?
Yeah.
You've collaborated with a lot of artists.
Well, I came out with I came out to LA to work with Warner Chappell, people who developed Bruno Mars and J.R.
On the
Rodham.
publishing side, or is it, what were you
Both.
doing?
So publishing and then to turn into a record deal. And
Cool.
the record deal I was in at the time, they couldn't quite negotiate a deal, but coming out, I kind of got infected with the pop gene because they were the ones who developed Bruno and J.R. Rodham and 1500 or Nothing. And so I started working on pop records, or at least tried to back then. And I really got into melody and into like pop songs. And I was like, this is like a way to have longevity in the industry. Rapper is like, once you're not hot, you're not hot. Whereas this, I can like create a career for myself. So I saw it as that right away. And so right when I started working with Steve Lindsay and Cassius and these people at Warner, it immediately sparked that for me and made me want to focus on that. And so I started studying lyrics. I started listening to pop records and listening to the intricacies and the little things like, oh, how does the end of her vocal sound? How does the reverb sound in the background? How are they doubling these vocals? Where are they adding harmonies? Where are they not? Where are they creating space in the tracks? Like just trying to analyze all the different aspects to understand what makes a great record. Sure. And practicing that kind of writing. So that was like 2013 when I came out here. And so
you've been here for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Cheers.
And
Congrats.
yeah, thank you, I guess. Yeah. I mean, been away from my family for 10 years, bro. Killing it.
Well, there's a, gosh, what's his name? From The Notebook, what's the male actor? What's his name?
Brad Pitt.
Not Brad Pitt. Joe, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, Ryan.
Ryan Gosling. There's a great quote he gives. He goes, LA is a whole bunch of like lone wolf coyote characters. I'm gonna leave my family. I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
They're all weirdos.
Yeah,
they don't.
true.
They don't really care about relationships. They're just gonna try and make
Dude,
it.
fuck you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Not your girlfriend, bro.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Everyone comes out here and like, I'm gonna make it, and that's LA is this very interesting ecosystem of people, man. Like we're both from Charleston. Well, he's from Atlanta, but we met in Charleston years ago playing music, and you know, I've learned. My whole family's from California, but I've learned a lot about people here. They're just so different, man. You know what I mean? Or even like musicians out here. You know, a lot of my I'm like, man, you're just a TikTok star. You're not really a musician. You know,
right.
It really separates. Maybe not use this term, but like from the men from the boys. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it sounds like what you've done. 2013 13, already working with Warner Chappell. That's huge, dude. That's amazing. And so that led to more from working with producers and
yeah, working with those writers just got me thinking like a writer, and then it led to like piano teachers and vocal coaches. Like I worked with Roger Love, who was Eminem's vocal coach, and I trained with him, and then worked with this guy Jameson Trotter, who I still do piano lessons with, and just like really good mentors that I met kind of from that 6-month experience that I had with Warner, and wasn't able to like, bridge the gap between my former label and that label.
Sure.
And then around 2017, I started working with an EDM producer who, was just sending me fire tracks, and I was like loving it. And it was like the perfect kind of music that I loved. Like I always loved rap, and I loved the ability to express yourself so articulately and thoughtfully, because there's so many lyrics. You could like really say exactly what you want. And with pop, you have to kind of say so much in one sentence. So people think it's simple. It's actually way more concise. You have to like really be thoughtful, and it can be corny and not edgy very quickly. So there's a craft to that too. But this was the kind of music I was like, this is it for me as far as like what was lighting me up.
Sure.
And so I did a ton of tracks with him and started, kind of studying more EDM. And then I opened up my own little studio and started writing tracks for people. And that kind of led one thing to another, to me, finally getting some placements last year, and
awesome.
and leading to where I'm at now in the EDM.
Didn't you just get something with Universal? Right?
Yeah, Warner.
Warner.
I did a record with them, and we also dropped a record on Spinnin' and Controversia today.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Congrats.
So it's huge. It's it's so interesting how like a year and a half ago these things would have been mind blowing, and then today they're just very like, yeah, I dropped a record on them today, and it's not that I'm like, oh, I'm cool.
You're just working.
I'm just in it, bro.
Yeah, you're just working.
Yeah, and I think it's a lesson to people is like, if you really, really, really want something and it's like all the way over there, you're probably not ready for it, because you won't know what to do with it. When things happen, when it's kind of like, oh, nice, that happened. Oh, that's good. That's kind of how it feels. It's always like, hell yeah. But it's not like, oh my, because I think there's such a gap between where your like vibration is versus where that opportunity is. You need to like close that gap, and that looks like internal work. It looks like therapy. It looks like, the gym. It looks like building bonds, learning to work things out with your partner. And that's on the internal level. And then also like putting in the fucking work, writing songs every day, networking, losing relationships, finding out how to rebuild those it's a lot of bullshit, but then you're ready,
Well, and I'm going to pop back to James, but that makes me happy to hear, because I used to freak out when I got an email. Oh, I got an email today. Oh,
Right.
Now I'm like, bro, I got 400. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? But it's not because I'm like, hey, I'm showing off. It's just I'm working.
It's just,
you know what I mean?
It's just where you're at.
And it's nice to hear other people have the same experiences. I used to freak out. Like, I got a single. Everyone pre-save it. I don't care anymore.
Right.
It just comes out. I know it's going to do well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I haven't quite figured out like what it is yet, but
you will.
It's like when you're at the level of when things are, you pretty much expect them. I don't think you can trick it though. I know people try to do like law of attraction, like, I'm gonna expect this thing and get there, but I think you do need to just put in the fucking work and stop. Meditating's good, but also grind. Do you know what I mean?
There is a lot of really interesting ways I want to take this conversation, because I love all that. But I think this is a great moment to talk about purpose driven, because what you mentioned earlier about when something happens for you and you're so focused on the process or the climb, you're not looking at the top of the mountain the whole time. You're like, oh, like, cool, this is part of the journey. Can you tell us like can you tell us what the studio and that theme of purpose, I've seen that kind of on your Spotify, on like your bio, like this seems to play in. So if you would just tell the listeners a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think even when you're writing a song, like, what is the purpose of the song, right? You want to have a real thoughtful concept, right? It doesn't just want to be, I want to have sex with you, or I love you, or it needs to have a layer of some kind of interesting aspect that's different than anything else, or like really sexy, or just something. So that's the purpose of the song, right? There's a why, And I think I'm kind of indirectly answering this question, but yeah, I think when you I'm like, how is that at all related to what you're saying?
It seems like the entire convo we've been having, we keep coming back to like intention or purpose.
Yeah.
You were like, how do you avoid this social media, like intentional habits, time blocking?
Yeah.
How do you write a song with intention? So,
Yeah.
and then it just happened to be the name of the studio too.
Yeah, you
So,
just have to fucking with the writing, you know, and it leads back to purpose, because you start with a why, with like, why am I writing this song? And there needs to be a deeper level. Like, you have to look for the cleverest line and look for the cleverest concept. It doesn't have to be like, you know, you don't have to like go to some weird place with it. But I find a lot of artists are willing to settle on a line, willing to settle on a concept. And, you know, sometimes it just happens and it feels right and you can get in that groove. But often I'll spend 7 hours like picking apart a verse, you know, and I think that's the difference, is like getting to that deeper level of purpose. So there's going to be 10 or 15 people who hear it and are like, fuck.
Totally.
You know, and then the next time 30 that are like, fuck, instead of like people being like, oh, sounds good, you know, and then it's
nice
only
flow.
a few extra hours. Like, we're spending all this time wasting watching fucking Netflix anyway. Why not put the deep work in? And a lot of it's, I'm uncomfortable feeling uncomfortable. I don't like feeling uncomfortable. So that's the real task, right? How do I learn to manage discomfort in my body and use it as fuel instead of something that's like, okay, that line, or oh, okay, coffee, or oh, okay, masturbate. You know what I mean? I know it sounds crazy, but that's the root of a lot of people's failure. Is that they're not willing to endure uncomfortable situations. But at the same time, that's what makes success. Because on the way to this podcast, with the fucking car and sleeping in the couch, like, that's what put you here. And now you have more relationships and more, you know, and you're doing an amazing job with a podcast, like, but you failed on the way, kind of, you know, not failed, but like there was discomfort on the way and you rode through it and you're here.
I want to talk about a little bit about songwriting too, because there's a difference between leaning into discomfort and judging super hard. I know I think like Jerry Seinfeld said something about how he'll time block an hour to write so that it's not an all day thing. And then when he's in that creative writing mode, anything goes. It's kind of like, you know, very non-judgmental.
Right.
All the ideas are welcome. Let's put color on the canvas. And then the next day, the editing, that's when he becomes brutally judgmental, that 7-hour comp or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so do you feel the same way? Because I know songs have been written in 2 minutes. Well, you bang it out and it's awesome. And then some take months.
I literally was about to ask that same question. Let's do short answers. Last song you wrote, long one, did it take you months or a day?
Last song I wrote took 2.5 hours.
James, what about you?
The last song I wrote, it was an afternoon.
Afternoon?
Yeah.
For me, the song that's going to be the theme for this, 3 months. But the song I wrote before that I released, the Wicked Girl, the one we're working on, took me a day. You know what I mean? But isn't that interesting? You know what I mean?
So interesting.
It took me 3 months. I was like, dude, I suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the day I knocked it out, I was like, oh man, I feel so satisfied. It's just so interesting to ask.
And there's so many different, and that's another thing you need to learn to roll with. I think in business or in music is like, some projects are going to take a month and they're going to fuck you up and you're going to make very little money. And other projects are going to be smooth and you're going to make thousands of dollars. And same with music, like and that's okay, because all of the growth that you experience during that is going to translate into money and songs in the future. So you need to like get it, that it's about the process and the grind and the growth along the way. It's never about the result from that one thing. It's about, you know, and even this podcast, not about like how many views we get. It's about making relationships, right?
Totally.
And having an impact and, you know, making friendships. And then you're going to call me in 3 years and be like, bro, I have this opportunity. It's going to be huge, you know?
Huge.
Well, hopefully we can add a little inspiration to possibly some aspiring producers or songwriters out there, which leads me to my next question, which is, do you have any advice for someone who's starting out, like a songwriter? Like, we've kind of been writing songs for years, but someone who's put in 10,000 hours, like, what would be the slogan on the billboard?
I say develop thoughtful concepts.
Develop thoughtful concepts.
Concept, yeah. So like song, that's what I learned at Warner is like song titles and concepts. So if you're writing a song and you start with like, you know, I love you, or like you just write a verse and get to the hook, it's going to be kind of loosey goosey. But if you start with like something that, if someone read on a Spotify list of playlist and they see that title and they're like, what the fuck is that? Boom, boom. You know, like
That's such a good way to put it. Totally.
So you're automatically eliminating, you know, you're automatically beating out 90% of the people who are just kind of writing whatever feels good. They might sound better, but you're going to look better right off the top.
Back in the day before Spotify was a thing and it was Apple Music or iTunes, all the label guys said was the cover art. Because you just went, like new music would drop, people would just go through it. And that's how they did it. You know what I mean? So it's interesting you put that about, so you're saying about Spotify, you see you get a little track,
Yeah.
and boop. You know what I mean?
And the title, like if you post a track called like, hey guys, my new single's out, it's called I Love You So, it's like,
all right,
great.
There's
But if you call
a
like,
lot of
fuck
songs.
you in the shower, you know, hey guys, my new single's out, it's fuck you in the shower, like,
I'm gonna click on that.
Jimmy Bernstein from elementary school is called Fuck Me in the Shower? Did you hear about Jimmy Bernstein's new track?
I
It's
fucked
hot.
him. Yeah.
It's hot. Yeah, I fucked
It's a
him.
country tune.
I think it's
Yeah,
about
for
me.
sure.
But that's true though, man. So
It's a country tune. Nice.
People have been getting really creative with ways to stand out. I know, like even punctuation, they'll like everything will be in lowercase. There'll be 2 slashes. You know, after
Right.
who's anyone listen to Kenny Hoopla?
Yeah,
like
but
he
you
put
just
out an
get
album that's
slashes.
everything's in lowercase. You know,
slashes.
Oh yeah.
You know, not to drop a name here,
interesting on 'em.
but just because my days, I used to work at a studio too. Shinedown, big rock
Cool.
band. They're really good. I'm not a big country guy, but they're really good friends with Jelly Roll.
Wow.
And that guy's huge in Nashville.
Rapper, right?
He's a rapper, but now he's kind of singing country stuff.
Yeah.
But his name Jelly Roll. You know what I mean? I don't know any of his music.
Yeah.
But they take him on the road all the time. They're like Jelly Roll, Jelly Roll, Jelly Roll. I think even your name. You know what I mean? You know?
Your name is important. Your name, and then more feedback for like starters. I would just say like listen to songs and listen to specific parts. So listen to the drums, listen to the kick. Oh, all right. Now listen to just the background vocals when you listen to a track. Listen to the way that the vocal ends. Are they harsh at the end, or is it soft with a breath? Listen to, you know, just try to like focus on one thing, like tune into specific parts of the record. I think that's really helpful because then you're seeing the intricacies. Because I think people see things macro, like, oh, I could write a song like that,
Totally.
but they're not seeing the intricacies. You know, read the lyrics on Genius.com. It'll tell you all the background and all the meaning of the lyrics, and you'll start to get an appreciation. Like, damn, this is a lot deeper than I thought.
Totally.
I found myself writing when I free write, it's the same rhyme scheme every time. But I know like if you ever read lyrics of some of your favorite writers or whatever, they'll be like, wow, this whole rap song was in one rhyme scheme, one rhyme the whole time.
Crazy.
Or like,
That's very talented. You gotta need a
and
lot
then
of talent
other
to do that.
rappers can rhyme and over the bar line and like kind of play with it like a drummer.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, let's from songwriting, because we tour a lot. Are you still touring a bit? Or are you trying to take a break? Or are you trying to get back into it?
I don't really like doing live shows. I just like being in the studio and creating is what lights me up. And I think I'm moving away, not from being an artist completely, but more so like production and writing. I'm finding, because I can sing, but people can fucking sing. And so when I work with them, I'm able to really leverage my skill and their talent and put it together. And like you were saying, like time block and really focus on the writing and the vocal production instead of like the writing and the recording and the mixing and the comping and the judging of myself while I'm recording, you know?
Yeah,
So it probably will move into a lane of like doing features on people's tracks and being like the producer, like DJ producer type vibe.
But no shows in LA? Not even for fun?
No.
No?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I'll do some soon, but not at the moment. Yeah.
Where have you played in LA?
I played at Rockwell, I think was like the only spot that I played. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, you know, if you ever know, let me know, man. Love to go see a show.
Absolutely.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
I should do it, or like some kind of an event. Yeah, where I perform and other people perform.
Just pop up for 5 minutes.
There is
Yeah.
a different energy with playing live than because I'm a studio guy too, and there is a magic, but there's something about the transience of like being in the moment, and you're like, whoa, dude, the guitar player is standing on the piano or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
like the rapper's in the crowd.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
get
That's
to
sick.
shake hands with your audience, and they're like we were saying before, like maybe the show only makes like $1,000 or whatever it is, and it's 2 months of work, but the growth that you experience and all the uncomfortable emotions that you have to face on the way to that is really, I think, powerful to like, you know, you have to just go through that dark tunnel, and I think that at the end of the day is you know what we should set our sights on, is like, oh, that feels scary, so let me do that, not because I need to get there, but because I need to like go
in.
through what
Totally.
makes me feel fearful and go through all the things. And yeah, and so you're inspiring me now to be like, I do need to do some fucking shows.
Well, I
You
mean,
should, bro.
it's the best feeling in the world. Like with this, the Boones,
Yeah.
started a festival called Homegrown. Obviously, it says Homegrown here too, but
Yeah.
it's a very southern thing. But it's called Homegrown Holy City Fest. They call it Charleston Holy City.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost like 30 grand putting
Damn.
it on this year. He played. It was dope. It was like
Cool.
1,000 people. But you know,
fucking God.
but I wanted to.
We rock the fuck.
I
out.
wanted
Yeah.
to, I wanted to kill myself. I was like,
Right.
well, I looked at the tickets. I was like, well, I got to give half of the radio station, and then I paid all the artists, and I paid for product. But we're bringing it back. It's gonna be, we're going to a real venue. We got a better deal. We got more partners. But you know, but I just love playing live music that much because like, I mean, dude, we've been on the road before where people go, or we just played the Hotel Cafe 2 weeks ago, and the guy that invested in this showed up,
Wow.
and and there's people talking, and I was just like, shut up, hey man. And it was just
Yeah,
like you came to see me, you invest in that. I just love. I'm just saying. I encourage you should do. If you do a showcase in LA, I will tell all my friends to come. So
Thank you so much, bro. Yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
let's get Big N up there, dude. There you go.
F yeah, boys. So since we're talking about like LA and business and connecting and meeting people, how are you meeting all these artists that are coming into your studio, or are they like being sent from labels? Is that kind of
No, not from labels, mostly from Instagram. You know, sometimes I'll reach out to a great voice. A lot of people reach out to me. Same with producers. It's just they'll see me working in the studio with somebody. So mostly referrals. Sometimes it'll be over text, just get an intro. Different, you know, like you're an agency I work with, and in the same way that you're referring clients on the marketing side at times,
Happens a lot.
people just refer, you know, and it's really great, you know, because there's a lot of talent here. So to be able to work with these fucking voices, I mean, it's, you know,
It's huge.
it's great. You know, I'm not in Albany, New York, where it's like, wow, you can sing. It's like everybody can sing.
Yeah.
So can you show up on time? Can you be easy to work with in the studio? Are you willing to do 40 takes to get it right, or are you going to get frustrated? You know, there's people who are in the studio and they're like, "Fuck, I got it wrong," and which is fine, and it's like cute, and I appreciate it. But there's people who also have done it enough to recognize like they're like receiving, you
Yeah.
know, and they're able to process and then adjust their voice and get the exact thing that we need and create magic, and that's what it's about. It's like
It's a profession, dude.
yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I mean, I bet when you have people there doing vocals and you can tell it's their first time, you know, you're obviously very nice and
Yeah.
and easy with it, but it's got to be a dream come true. So I goes, oh, hold on one second, hey, dude, again. There it is. All right, you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
thank
right.
God today was a beautiful session. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, James used to work at a huge studio called Truphonic in Charleston.
Oh, cool.
And who was the guy? What was the mastering guy? He is famous as shit.
Vlado Miller?
Yeah.
Vlado Miller mastering. Yeah,
He's
And
done
I'm,
like every album.
I'm close with his
Sounds like
assistant
a
Jeremy.
nice Jewish
They've-
guy.
He's Eastern European, and you should see the records he's done. I mean, I can name names, but just go Google Vlado Miller.
Yeah, it sounds familiar for
yeah,
sure.
he's done all the greats, but
Miller, I hardly know her. Stupid.
Dude, you
I
dropped
love-
some great one lines, man. I love it.
yeah, man, we were gassing up before we even pressed record. We were all just cutting up. But I was gonna mention, because like I love production too, and like it's like it'll make you think about songwriting in a different way. And I wanted to get some of your feedback on
Yeah.
arrangement. I feel like when I am producing a song, if I'm in that seat as a producer, it's like 100% arrangement is my point of focus. Like
Yeah.
what's dropping out in verse 2, things like
Right.
that. What's bringing me into the song. The
Yeah.
first 5 seconds of a song is the moment where the listener skips if it's boring.
Right.
You know, so the color, the artwork can get you, the title, the this, the that.
Yeah.
But like if I'm not immediately pulling you into my story, and that gets all like arrangement. That's what I think of when you mention like, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think don't bore us, get to the chorus, you know.
You literally said that earlier.
I was like, get to the hook.
So start with the hook, or start with a preview of the hook, or start with something hooky. So if the song is like starts in 7 seconds in the verse, like, I don't wanna love no more, I don't wanna love no more, verse. Stupid example, but like give something in that first few. Keep the song short. People have TikTok attention spans.
Yep.
So keep it to like 2 to 2:30. If you're an independent artist, nobody's going to listen to your 3-minute song anymore, unfortunately, unless it's out of this world. And most people aren't making that because you need big budgets, you need great teams.
Yep.
And yeah, switch up melody in the second verse to keep the listener engaged because of the TikTok, attention span.
For sure.
TikTok attention.
Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, you gotta. It's like the car test. You know, you might be in the studio, it sounds freaking incredible. But you're like, dude, we gotta go pop this in the car real quick, because most people listen on their headphones in the car. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so you gotta think about people's
Yeah.
attention spans. They're going like this, like
Yeah.
dating. You know what I mean?
That's why concept is fucking important. Because
Yep.
if you could say some shit in that hook,
boom.
then it's like,
What was
oh shit, that's different. You need to grab people these days.
your takeaway? Was develop interesting concepts. I think that's what you said.
Titles and concepts. Start there and then try to write a song around that. Like you wouldn't write a fucking paper for school and write it about like, today I went to the mall and then I did this. You know, people think they can write that because they don't know the song structure.
I woke up today. I'm like, skip.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, I'm like, dude.
I woke up today and I killed my mom. Better be that strong. So another thing is that first line needs to grab you lyrically too. So the most important lines are the first line, the line before the hook, the first line of the hook, the last line of the hook. The last line should say something like completely different than the whole hook. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, but I murdered you anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a lot of murder analogies today. But you know what I mean?
There
like,
are some dark analogies, but I like the
I like that.
the structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And like Katy Perry, last Friday night, I did this, I did next Friday night, do it all again.
It's a story. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Development.
she's switching it up. She's saying, oh, this shit happened last Friday night. I got drunk. There's a menage. Like, it's all fucked up. But next Friday night, I'm going to do it all again. There's another chapter that she's adding at the end of that that's keeping the listener engaged. So it's all about, I'd say, those kind of areas of the song.
I got an interesting question, and it's short. Do you see colors when you listen to music?
No.
No. Do you?
No. That would be cool.
Not under normal circumstances.
He's like, depends what I'm on.
Little mushrooms. You know. I was just curious. You know, some people talk about that a lot. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
well,
So-
it's a phenomena, or it's actually something, right?
It's actually
Synesthesia.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Anesthesia?
Synesthesia.
Anesthesia. I'm pretty sure it's not anesthesia.
Light me up, dude.
Yeah, music is dope.
Yeah, but I just want just curious about that because we want this podcast to be about business. You know, we should maybe segue to that for a second
Oh, yeah.
too. But we got a comedian that we're bringing on here soon. But it's really nice to talk to another songwriter, and you're not just a songwriter, you're an artist. You're an entrepreneur. So like, tell us about your business, man. Just dive into it.
I'm not a businessman.
Yes, you are.
I'm a business man.
Dude.
Do you know that Jay-Z line?
Yes.
I'm not a businessman. He's sick.
Dude.
He's great. But anyway,
That's gonna be like an Instagram reel right there.
I have a marketing agency for musicians. I'm able to vet like really authentic products because I've been in the game for 15 years, so I can find out what's real and what's effective, and negotiate those rates effectively so that the artist isn't getting ripped off.
Totally.
There was a lot of time where I was producing these records and artists would go spend $5,000 for people who don't know. 5 G's, 5K.
To the listeners out there.
To just fucking people who, would rip them off and run away with their money. And there's a lot of like, I tell people who I'm pitching my product to, like, if there should be no uncertainty with what you're getting. It shouldn't be this big range. It shouldn't be, like, we're going to try to land you as many articles. It should be very specific about what you're getting, and you should feel safe. You're putting your fucking money up.
A Chinese menu, a la carte. I want this article. All right, man,
Right.
it's this much money.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
It should be, yeah. It should be, what you're getting. Like, I've seen PR company, we're going to pitch for 2 months, and then they don't land anything. It's like...
I used to work at one.
Right.
And I quit because, they were like making something up. $3,000 for 2 month retainer. And all they
Right.
were doing was taking those 3 Gs And then, all right, let's go pay Vince Magazine $100. All right, cool.
Right,
Here's your
right.
article. And then they just pocket the rest of it. Go, hey, you know what, man? It was your album. Just drop another album. We'll do better next time. And I was like,
Right.
they are just ripping these people off. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I saw it from the back end. I was like, dude, you guys are screwed up.
Yeah.
And then, you know, karma's real. Next thing you know, the company folded. You know what I mean? But yeah, but I agree with you. It should be, this is what you get.
And that's the other thing is like, if you do good business, everybody will refer you. And that's what's happened with me. It's like, it's all referrals. I do 0 ads, you know, and I'm busy as fuck. And because I'm in it, I'm really, you know, responding to people myself. And if they have a question, I'm going above and beyond. And I think that, you know, makes the difference. You need to understand the product you're selling ideally, and, you know, understand how the impact it has. And I also know artists, so I'm able to like make them feel safe within, you know, because I know I've been taken advantage of many times. So yeah, it's a company that serves artists in many different ways, from production to getting their song to blow up.
What's the term you have? 20% of your, what is it?
Oh yeah, it's called the Pareto principle, and it's like, you know, maybe 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your effort, 20% of your clients.
Yeah.
The ones that you always do well for.
80%
Right.
of your opportunities are going to come from 20% of your music, or
Yeah.
whatever. That one song, or that one opportunity, that one situation. So yeah, it's about putting your focus intentionally, to purpose driven. You know what I mean?
And
Well-
that, yeah.
Well, what's the next big thing that you are like stoked on for you as an artist, business, whatever?
Yeah.
What's getting you up in the morning?
I think I'd want to say, like, on paper, it's just released today. It's the biggest dance label I've released with, but
What's the title? Tell us.
it's
about
called Skin, and it's sexy, and it's on Spinnin' Controversia Records, ALOX label.
Cool.
And so it's like the biggest like dance label I've released on. I've released on a major recently, which was huge, but this for me was the biggest like co-sign of a label. So it's like a great thing for the resume.
Good for you. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love the track, but again, it's the excitement is kind of, you got to constantly find new ways to find things that are like, what's gonna light me up like this used to a year ago. And I think now it is more songwriting. I have a session after this with a girl, K.R.I.T, who's really dope.
Nice.
And I'll be working with her on a single I'm really excited about. So it's still the creation that I guess lights me up and keeps me going. The business is cool. It's like, oh, I made money today. Great. I don't have to like worry about that. But that need gets filled very quickly, and then there's like, all right, there's a hierarchy of needs above that you have to constantly fill. And
Creative work's a little more fulfilling,
for
a little
sure.
more
Totally.
challenging.
But people don't
Yeah.
get that, like, you know, all right, you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
We got to pay our bills. You know what I mean? And hell yeah, it's dope we can do it. You know what I mean? But like some people are like, you work way too much. You're like, dude, I don't have a boss. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I get to do whatever I want
From
but
anywhere.
Like, but no one is paying my rent. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's so I feel at one point once you become successful as a songwriter, entrepreneur, you do get kind of zen though. Nothing can fuck with you anymore. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I've been through the trenches. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not there yet. Things hurt me.
well, I mean, dude, someone stole a ton of money from this once.
Right.
That company had some guy steal a lot of money from that. You know, but I'm saying, but after, you know, I still get beat up. I'm a very emotional person.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but now if someone comes at me, I don't fire back at them. I just get quiet and I'm like, whatever, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I used to be like, how dare you? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
because I'm newer and my company's only been like going hard for a year. I'm learning. Like, I was with my therapist yesterday, like, this person said this, and I know it's just a passing comment, and yet it really affected my whole day, like my whole emotional state and how I interact with everyone.
It's
and then
tough.
you know, and so I'm learning, like I'm working and sorting it all out and understanding and talking to my inner child who's like really hurt by these things and trying to.
Because you're doing your best to do good by people, and then someone came at you. I'm assuming, you know what I mean? It happens to me a lot, and now I'm just like, you know, instead of responding, I put it down and I go, you know what, dude, let me go for a walk real quick, or
Right.
let me call somebody, and then all of a sudden, I will respond to it, or they'll respond later, going, my bad, and you're like, cool,
Right,
I
right.
could have blown up to a huge thing.
And that's the thing too, like in personal relationships, boundaries and owning your power and truth is so important. And in business relationships, there is a different energy that needs to be thoughtful and methodical. It's business.
Yeah.
It's not personal relationship. Like, someone comes at me I'm like, dude, don't ever talk to me like that. You know,
Totally.
someone comes to me in business, I'm like, if I say that there and this ruins that could affect that and that and
then we end.
I'm like, fuck, am I not owning my power right now?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I being smart and finding the balance between, you know, owning your truth that wells up inside of you and letting it out, you know? So I'm still balancing that, figuring out that balance. It's quite hard. Does that resonate?
Being thoughtful about the narrative you write, about what's happening around you, you know, that's the one thing you have control over, you know, and a lot of other people's actions aren't even personal in business or in music or relationships. Yeah. So that's important to remember too. Yeah.
Well,
So many tools.
You got any more?
So hard being human.
Oh, dude, it's the worst, man. You know, but it's also beautiful.
That's a great title. Hard being human.
The human condition, right?
It's
You
actually
know?
a good one.
Like that would stand out. And a little. It's a little. What if I just talk like that the whole time? Would you guys still fuck with me?
Yeah, dude. That's the intro for the Hard Being Human song.
Dude, we're gonna make some B-roll with that. So
Let's do it. I thought I'm going to talk like this the rest of the time. That's good. I like that.
Oh man, I'm glad you came on, dude.
Yeah.
We want to start drinking. Let's pour a shot. Man.
So, Brendan, I got another question for you.
Yeah.
Who are some of the people you look up to, and what are some collaborations you'd like to see happen? Just like talking out loud.
Like maybe like Diplo is on my list. I love his music. Like he has songs that I'm like, yes,
It's
that's
good.
fire. And look up to. I like Connor. I think his name's Connor Price. He's like normal dude, dope rapper, making really dope content. I like content. Like I think people who like really have zoned into creating content that's like funny and engaging and light, and you know, it's like something that people can enjoy, but it's also helping them, and it's creative and thoughtful, and it's a work of art, but it's quick. So Connor is somebody I look up to is in the content game, and Tony Robbins is, you know, having this beautiful impact on a lot of people, and so wise and so well thought out in what he's done. And Kyle Cease is another kind of Tony Robbins many people haven't heard of yet, but I look up to him. He's like one of my biggest spiritual online guru guys.
Nice.
So people like that, I think, you know, I'm like, you're really helping a lot of people. That's valiant. I'm writing songs like people enjoy, but you know, I think that's like.
So is Tony going to be on a track? Is that the collaboration?
Tony Robbins.
Like you can sample
Tony
like
on
a
the track.
Dude, I mean he's what a character that guy is, and I'm not saying in a negative way. I'm just saying like, you know, he's you know,
What a beast.
Well, you know, I had a previous business partner where she used to spend all her money to go to all his conferences. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I'm not saying he has like a cult, but I mean, you know, he has super fans. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Which is very interesting. I love to take my inspiration not just from musicians, but from entrepreneurs and stuff too. You know what I mean? So I think that's very smart.
Yeah, like Tim Ferriss, Tony Robbins, Kyle Cease.
Tim's great.
You know, these people are, if you can learn to extrapolate the lessons out of what they're teaching, because a lot of creative minds can't think like that and don't think like that naturally. So if you learn from something like that, you're able to apply methods that are very outside of the box, like those systematic work methods. I'll write a song in 30 minutes because I'm putting a timer on. Sometimes I won't, but sometimes I will. And I think that mentality, it's like, when am I inspired? Ooh, I want to write this right. Like that works when it works. And you need to learn to get on a schedule and treat this like a fucking job if you're serious, and learn to schedule things with people and get on routines and like, you
Execute,
know,
build muscle.
do you want to do a songwriting session every week on Monday at 11 a.m.? Like that's a question you need to be asking people you have good relationship with in the studio. Not like, oh yeah, let's do this again. It's like, how's Monday at 11? You know, and you need to treat it like that, and then let the magic happen inside the structure. But there needs to be some like constraints and limitations to create, you know, the magic.
The first thing I did when I came to LA, are you BMI or ASCAP?
BMI.
So I'm BMI, so you know you can just go there and rent out the room for free. I used
Cool.
to go I used to do it in
know that.
Nashville. Yeah, you just email them. I used to do it in Nashville a lot, but in
Sick.
LA every Thursday I did that, and it was dope. I loved it. I was like, I'm gonna go down there and like, it was, you know, I'm going down to BMI. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
There's
cool.
free Topo Chico. Like there's all this shit.
Is
And you're
Topo Chico there? Can I bring it to go?
Dude, I used to BMI come after me. I was so freaking poor. I would take all the Topo Chico in my book bag, and I would be walking up, tink, because all glass bottles, tink, tink,
Yeah.
tink, tink, tink. I have so many BMI mugs, you know. This one chick I was dating, she's like, BMI, like body mass index? I was like, nah, babe. Like, that's where I get my paychecks from.
That's funny.
So, anyway, but that's nice. Having a routine's dope, man. You know, what do you do in the morning? What's your routine?
I wake up and 15 minutes. We're getting our wave that it's 15 minutes. 10 minutes.
You're good.
5 minutes. Just wake up and jerk off or directly upon waking up. No, I actually don't masturbate, honestly, but
What a lie,
but
dude.
after thinking about jerking off and fighting off that demon, that's not true. Most of the time.
The honesty is palpable.
The Catholic in you is coming out. You know?
And something else is palpable too.
But after you crying in the morning.
Yeah, after I wake up, cry for an hour, you know, contemplate some different, you know,
Urges.
I just wake up and go right to the gym because my mind is fucked when I wake up. I'm a little depressed. I have anxiety. I think the worst situations might happen. And when I get a real fucking sweat and push myself past the limit of what I thought I could, I get out of that and I'm like, shit's pretty fucking good. You know, I'm inspired. Let me reach out to this person. So I have a gym membership that costs a lot of money because each thing is like a class. And it makes me way more money than I invest in it because when I leave, my selling ability and communication skills skyrocket. So I just put myself in a very strenuous, I think that's the word, strenuous physical environment in the morning. There's a protein shake, and then I'll either go to a cafe or, you know, therapy or a session right after that. Just like get right into work from the gym stinking.
Nice.
Sounds pretty balanced.
Thanks.
That's good.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I'm also sober. I'm not like sober like I was an alcoholic, but I don't drink or smoke or do anything, and
because
that's helped.
because you're focused.
Well, I'm focused because I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Because I would use those things like, I kind of feel stressed right now. Let me smoke some weed, and then the next like day is gone.
Yeah.
Or, I kind of feel stressed. Let me masturbate or drink some coffee, and then I'm like this, and everything's happy and everything's good, but it's not really.
Totally.
So for me, because I'm so sensitive, as I mentioned before, by eliminating those things, I only have time to do the things that give me energy naturally, which is like eating healthy and working out, or the things that light my soul up enough to like muster up the fucking energy to do it, which is like writing and making bank sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. But I mean,
Fucking bank.
I highly believe in that. Getting up in the morning and doing something. If you're trying to make it as an entrepreneur that's also an artist, you got to have a routine. I was someone today, like I was so excited for this and to start this.
Cool.
Because we get to be around people. If not, I'll be like this lonely guy in my apartment making bank.
Right.
But I'm like, I'll step out at like 4 o'clock feeling so funky, and then I'll be like, I'm in California. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have a routine that's dope. That's very good.
Yeah, I need more friends and more friend time. Like my girlfriend's lovely, and you know it's like good to be around bros. And so I love this idea because you're creating a system to do something that you know is going to light you up, and then that's going to bleed into your business.
Well, dude, let's he's got some fire off questions, but let's do a follow up interview in a couple months
For sure.
We're doing like 50 episodes of these.
I'm gonna come in next time like. Fucking hammered, bro. Give me more. Like what happened,
Just
Brendan?
start walking and grabbing
Like,
a bottle of
Fell
Bourbon.
off,
Yeah.
dude. Just fell off the train.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah, getting a little bit of energy going. Write the good narrative. You know, I'm gonna kick ass today.
Fuck yeah.
You know what? We actually hit all the questions.
Cool.
But where can listeners follow up with you online? Where can we find you?
Just B Martin in Google or B Martin official on Instagram is like where I'm most active. I'm trying to get into TikTok because I'm supposed to. I'm just so tired.
I literally just started 3 days ago,
Yeah.
and it's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. B Martin on YouTube. B Martin official on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and OnlyFans is going to be 6969 BBW. I don't know.
Are you spreading it? Or are you a
Oh yeah, it's a lot of different spread. I'm spreading a lot of different things. Mostly
Nutella? Jam?
What? No, don't tell her. I put the nut in Nutella.
There you go, dude. That's a hit song, James. Let's sign it.
I put the nut in Nutella.
I'd say it's kind of a pop punk
I'm a
vibe.
dirty fucking fella. Yeah. You know I look like Cruella. Who's Cruella?
Sounds like Fall Out Boy, dude. Let's go. That was
Yeah.
great.
Are we writing a song after this?
Yeah.
I think we should, dude.
I am not drinking a Stella because I'm sober. Look, I don't want to drink that much because I'm gonna make that. No, okay, hold on.
Dude,
I'll just
there
start
you
like
go.
backing. I appreciate you guys.
Dude, great time talking with you,
You
Brendan.
too. Great questions. Thank you so much, both of you.
B.
Dude,
Martin.
Stoked to meet you, buddy. Thank you so much. Check out Brendan Martin, B. Martin, and we'll have you on soon, man.
Yeah. Appreciate
All
you
the
guys.
love.
Much love. Mwah.